In the dark side of living in Ireland, Ireland is a European country consistently ranking among those with the highest GDP per capita in the world. It's also known for its stunning natural landscapes, with friendly people always welcoming you anytime. However, in reality, 70% of young people are considering leaving the country, mainly due to the economic situation here not being what you'd expect. Additionally, this country also has some extremely challenging aspects, such as harsh weather or complete smoking bans. So, how did that come about? What are the dark sides of Ireland? Let's explore the 17 reasons why young people choose to leave Ireland. Number 17. Absolute avoidance of religion and politics. In Ireland, politics and religion are two very sensitive topics best avoided. If you're familiar with the troubles in Ireland, you'll know that there have been clashes between Protestants and Catholics. Because the Irish have strong views when it comes to the country's history, you should steer clear of religion and politics when engaging in conversation. After all, you never know how someone else's experience might be. Also, don't be offended by the swearing when you come to Ireland, because the Irish swear a lot. Consider it a part of their speech rather than intentional swearing, adding influence and making the English language more colorful and diverse. Moreover, the Irish always see everything with humor and don't focus on formality. So if you engage with locals, you're sure to be teased, but in a friendly way. Just go along with them and you'll have a good time. Number 16. Ireland does not handle divorce. One peculiar thing about marriage in Ireland is that it only accepts marriage registration procedures, not handling divorce cases. However, this doesn't mean that married couples in Ireland have to live together for life. The marriage regime in this country will have a duration, and cohabitation will be limited from 1 year to 100 years. Both parties can negotiate the duration of the marriage relationship from a minimum of 1 year to a maximum of 100 years. After the negotiated period is over, if both parties are willing to continue living together, they can extend the marriage registration. Otherwise, both parties will be free and not bound. This takes effect from the date of marriage registration, and when that time comes, their marital relationship is completely terminated. If the couple still wishes to live together, they can continue to extend the marital relationship even after the expiration date. What do you think about this in Ireland? Feel free to share your thoughts below. Number 15. Drinking culture not for everyone. Anyone here like drinking? Comment below. If you love drinking, you'll definitely love Ireland. The Irish love their pubs, and for many, it's the attraction of the country. But if you don't drink, you'll be surprised when you come here, because you'll see Ireland is a country of alcoholics, which has always been part of the culture from ancient times. In Ireland, you finish work and go to the pub for a drink. The sun sets and you go to the pub. Someone passes away, and you celebrate their life with a drink. If pub culture isn't for you, then Ireland will be a difficult place to live. According to pre-COVID-19 alcohol consumption statistics, 44% of Irish people over 18 drink alcohol at least once a week. Moreover, Irish people drink an average of 10 liters of alcohol per year. However, that joy has diminished quite a bit since alcohol prices have soared in recent years. The minimum unit pricing policy in 2022 set the floor price at over $1 for every 10 grams, making alcohol more expensive than in any other European country. Additionally, Ireland also has the highest alcohol tax in Europe. Number 14. Difficult to bond with Irish people. Irish people are exceptionally friendly, but it takes more time to truly form a meaningful relationship. Additionally, Irish people are quite attached to family and friends in their homeland, so they may not necessarily be interested in making friends with many foreigners, especially in smaller villages, where everyone knows each other, and you'll find it difficult to become a part of the community. On the other hand, the Irish have a bad habit of gossiping, which can be difficult. While larger cities experience this less, because not everyone knows each other, small towns and villages are famous for gossip. People gather to chat about the latest news. This can be annoying for anyone living in Ireland, especially if you don't want to hear the latest rumors every day. Or worse, if you're the one who has to endure those rumors. Number 13. Welcoming Christmas by wearing straw attire. For over 400 years, silent theater actors in Ireland often dressed in straw attire during Christmas, and went from house to house to perform plays, recite poems, sing, and even dance. In the mid-1900s, this tradition nearly disappeared, partly due to societal rifts. With obscured faces, tattered costumes, and a stick in hand, these theater actors have a menacing appearance on the holiday. They would go from house to house and perform. Some families warmly welcome them, but there are also those who dislike them, even shunning them due to their terrifying appearance, causing their children to run away at the sight of them. For the elderly, especially during Christmas, watching the performances makes them feel extremely happy and transported back to ancient times, with the sound of ringing bells, banjo tunes, flute melodies, or the gaze behind those straw masks. A unique feature from ancient times. Anyone witnessing this scene in Ireland during the holidays shouldn't be scared. Number 12. Ireland bans smoking. Ireland was the first country in the world to enact a comprehensive smoking ban law in 2004. Smoking in workplaces in Ireland can be fined up to $3,347. A nationwide ban on smoking in public places was implemented in 2007, including all venues like bars, restaurants, and parks. Ireland believes that the smoking ban will not only prevent smoking in crowded places, but also help smokers quit. If a smoker isn't allowed to smoke in a pub, they'll have to go outside in the cold to smoke, making it more inconvenient and reducing smoking. Additionally, in 2020, Ireland also introduced the Public Health Act, allowing strict prohibition of selling nicotine products like vapes to those under 18. Under the new law, selling nicotine products to children is a violation, and this criminal act can be fined up to €4,000 or imprisonment for up to 6 months. Number 11. Harsh weather. Similar to the UK, Ireland is influenced by wet and windy weather all year round. Earthquakes and storms are very rare in Ireland. However, if you plan to live in Dublin, Derry, Cork, or Kerry, you better prepare for wet and rainy weather because being near the sea means the weather will be extremely wet. Frequent rain and wind from the ocean also bring fog. Winter is mild with occasional snowfall, and summer temperatures average between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, so forget about bikini weather, even if you live by the coast. Ireland's weather is also unpredictable, meaning you can see a sunny sky and a torrential downpour in the same day, or even the same afternoon. But when a storm hits, it doesn't last long, sometimes only a few minutes, sometimes a few hours. Number 10. Poor infrastructure. Looking at the bigger picture, it's a fact that Ireland, in many aspects, is a country with poor management to the extent that it can't build basic infrastructure and manage public services effectively. For many years, Ireland has struggled to build roads and infrastructure and hasn't been able to improve much. The only way to get from point A to point B on a reasonable schedule is to have your own car. However, buying a car is quite expensive, and traffic congestion is almost always a problem. Nonetheless, Ireland has buses, trains, airports, and Dublin City electric trains nationwide. But if you live anywhere outside these routes, you won't have much hope of getting anywhere. While Dublin has a good transportation system, many suburban areas of Dublin have terrible road conditions and terrible bus and train schedules, making it difficult for locals to commute to work every day. Furthermore, you'll have to deal with traffic congestion. Rush hour is the time when everyone studying in Ireland is present at their destinations. It's the time of day when you'll see a crowded traffic flow, and you'll feel like you're standing still even when traveling by road to your university. There's no Uber in Ireland, so locals have to rely on personal cars, taxis, and public transportation. FRO is a taxi service with an app that looks somewhat like Uber, so you can use this service if you're uncomfortable calling a taxi here. Additionally, internet and mobile communication are expensive and very slow outside major cities like Dublin, and sometimes it can even disappear on the way. The government promises that the internet will soon be available throughout Ireland, but these are just promises. Ireland doesn't have water taxes, but some areas have not changed their water system supply sources for many decades, so there's no drinking water from the tap in those areas. Number 9. Ireland is not as wealthy as you think. Ireland isn't actually as wealthy as you might think, despite having an extremely high per capita GDP. Don't let that fool you. For example, while it has a relatively high average salary, it's not nearly as high as the per capita GDP would suggest. The average salary of Irish people is lower than in most other countries. While countries like the Netherlands, Belgium, or Austria have per capita GDPs only half as high as Ireland's, household income statistics show similarities with Ireland. Essentially, Ireland isn't as wealthy as it appears on paper, and its GDP figures are inflated to the point where they don't truly reflect reality. The main reason for this is that many global corporations are headquartered here, so they shift their profits to Ireland. The profits aren't generated in Ireland by non-Irish companies, and this money is taken out of the country without ever truly contributing to Ireland's economy. Therefore, Ireland's economy isn't reflected solely based on the country's GDP, as GDP doesn't indicate whether the country is truly wealthy or not. In reality, Ireland can hardly be called a wealthy nation according to GDP statistics. The average Irish person isn't developing software for Google. These companies only employ a very small portion of Ireland's workforce, relying instead on highly skilled workers coming to Ireland from abroad. These highly paid workers have helped increase the value of their companies, but most Irish people aren't involved in big tech and earn less. Especially when compared to the US, wages in Ireland seem relatively low. For example, the average salary of a software developer in Ireland is €62,500, while the average salary of a software developer in the US is $156,800. The excessively high GDP has overshadowed other figures about Ireland. For example, Ireland has one of the highest national debts in the world, but because national debt is usually reported in relation to a country's GDP and because Ireland has an extremely high GDP, this isn't noticed. What do you think about this? Feel free to leave your comments below. Number 8. Ireland is an isolated island. You need to know that Ireland is an island, and living on an island comes with its own challenges. For example, unless it's grown or produced in Ireland, everything you need or want to buy is brought to Ireland by air or ferry. This significantly increases its price. Additionally, some people may feel a bit trapped living on an island. You can feel somewhat isolated. Also, because Ireland is an island, you can't just go anywhere without a flight or boat. This makes traveling to Europe difficult if flights aren't affordable or train journeys can't be scheduled because you can't drive and reach wherever you want. Number 7. High cost of living. Ireland is notorious for its high cost of living. It's ranked as the second most expensive country in the EU for goods and services, with prices higher than the average by 34%. If you're immigrating from the UK, you might be accustomed to high prices. However, even the UK is relatively cheaper than Ireland, only being 21% above the average cost. Car insurance, fuel, and mortgages are extremely expensive in this country. Ireland's fuel tax is very high, over 50%, driving up the price of petrol. While prices vary depending on location, you may have to pay double the amount to fill up your tank in Ireland compared to the US. Drivers can't save by crossing the border to Northern Ireland to refuel, because fuel there is also expensive. An average driver using petrol in Ireland is spending about €2,189 per year just on fuel. Overall, you'll pay about €1.80 per liter. To put that into perspective, that price is nearly double what you'd pay in the US. What do you think about the cost of living and fuel prices in Ireland? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Number 6. Irish people use a lot of slang when communicating. Ireland is an English-speaking country, but this isn't the only language here. According to Ireland's constitution, Irish is the first official language, and it's considered a compulsory subject in schools. While most people in the territory speak English, some areas, primarily on the West Coast, consider Irish their most common language. Additionally, Ireland uses a lot of slang in everyday conversations. For example, instead of being asked, "How are you?" you'll often hear people ask each other, "Hey, what's cracking?" If you hear this phrase, remember that they're just greeting you politely, like "How are you?" Another example is how Irish people use the word. This is a word that can be used for various purposes in Ireland, depending on the context, including thank you, perfect, okay, don't worry, and more. What do you think about this? Feel free to leave your comments below. Number 5. Irish people drink a lot of tea. Ranked third in the world aside from alcohol, tea is a favored beverage by most Irish people. They're even considered one of the countries that drink the most tea in the world, with the average Irish person drinking between 4 to 6 cups of tea per day. Irish households always have Lions or Berries tea bags available and never run out. Typically, tea is consumed hot with added milk or sugar. To show their hospitality, Irish people will offer you more than 1 cup of tea each day. Number 4. Long wait times for healthcare. Although Ireland provides healthcare services to all permanent residents, this comes with a significant limitation. Medical procedures can take up to several weeks to be addressed, and if you need urgent care for something not life-threatening, you could wait around 10 to 14 hours. If you want to skip the queue, the reason for this is that their national healthcare system is perpetually in a state of permanent crisis due to overcrowding, funding shortages, and their doctors migrating to other English-speaking countries. Of course, Ireland isn't the only country struggling with these issues. Finding a doctor or dentist in Ireland will be a challenging task. Hospitals aren't fantastic either. I know someone who went to the hospital, endured pain for 5 hours of waiting, and gave up after finding no doctors at the hospital. If you need to go to the hospital, it's better to hire private healthcare services. What do you think about the healthcare services of this country? Please leave your opinions in the comments below. Number 3. Housing crisis. One major issue Ireland has faced in recent years is a severe housing crisis. The problem stems from a particularly poor combination of government policies that have made it difficult for developers to build any type of housing. Constructed in densely populated urban areas, it is prone to opposition and obstruction from the public. As a result, Ireland is experiencing a severe housing shortage, meaning that most people cannot afford housing or have entirely inaccessible housing. Even in 2022, only 851 properties were listed for rent across the entire 5.1 million population country, leading to strange scenes of hundreds of people queuing on Dublin streets trying to buy houses. In fact, the housing crisis has been ongoing for several years, and despite many promises, the government has not been able to do much to promote housing growth. Naturally, the consequence of the housing crisis is that this country has extremely high housing costs in major cities on the island. Finding affordable rental housing is quite difficult, especially in Dublin, which has the highest prices. Renting a 2-bedroom apartment in the suburbs will start at €2,000 per month. Moreover, most students rent rooms or even share rooms with friends to save on housing costs, and don't be surprised if that bedroom comes at a very high price. In Dublin, you can easily pay $2,100 for rent per month, and in smaller towns, this figure is often $1,500 a month. Housing prices in Ireland are increasing every year. Additionally, getting a mortgage in Ireland is also challenging, especially if you are a foreigner. Irish banks consider foreigners as high-risk borrowers, and typically offer lower interest rates if you qualify for a life or loan. What do you think about Ireland's expensive housing costs? Please leave your opinions in the comments below. Number 2. Limited job opportunities outside Dublin. Dublin has many job opportunities because it is a prosperous capital city that attracts people from all over the country. Moreover, there are better education opportunities and better jobs here. Many multinational companies have headquarters here, as mentioned earlier, especially because Dublin is well connected to all major cities in Europe and the east coast of the United States by daily direct flights. This is an international city with numerous retail, entertainment, culinary and tourism establishments, providing a large number of job opportunities. Dublin has the most career opportunities, and currently, there are 2 million people living in Dublin, accounting for 40% of the country's total population. However, the job prospects outside the bustling capital of Ireland are certainly few and far between. Rural Ireland has suffered devastation in years of recession, and therefore many young people have left smaller towns and villages, immigrating from the country or to larger cities like Dublin. Many towns and villages in this category are only gradually recovering. Business activities employ fewer workers in factories, reducing job opportunities. Number 1. Obtaining a driver's license is very complicated. Although living in Ireland requires a car, getting a driver's license here is very complicated. Even if you are an excellent driver and have an impeccable driving record, this is still difficult. If you are lucky enough to move from a country that Ireland recognizes as having a driver's license, then it's okay. However, for people from the US and Brazil arriving in Ireland, it's a nightmare. You will need to take a written test, learn to drive, and pass a driving test to be able to drive in Ireland. The system is quite overloaded, so each step can take several months to complete. Car insurance is also very expensive in Ireland, especially in the first year of living here. Despite many drawbacks, Ireland is still a great place to live. This country has good education, a safe environment, and many job opportunities for everyone. Besides, friendly people and beautiful landscapes are also factors that make people want to immigrate to Ireland. So we've explored the dark sides of Ireland. What do you think about these, or have you lived or experienced anything in Ireland yet? Remember to comment and share with me. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest videos from us. See you in the next videos.